Hello, hi, how are you? Okay, okay, you beautiful people. Yes, we are all beautiful in our way or another. Yes. Well, London is in a good weather. It has been a little cooler for my taste today's for these last 2 days, but today was okay. Today was about 25, so it was okay. Well, I'm gonna talk again about my dreams. And that one that I'm gonna tell you today was the days going. What time is now? It's nearly 9 o'clock in the evening, but it's still clear outside. It's still daylight outside. So you're gonna see from the mirror, from the mirror there, in there. So this dream is gonna make me very emotional. I know because it relates to one of my family that I have up there. Um, I called him my shoemaker father because he makes shoes. He's a shoemaker. He makes shoes for people that arrives, the new arrivals. So he made shoes for them. I think I mentioned it one of my that I was gonna tell you about this experience that I had. So if I cry, don't worry, it's because I really miss that place. I do. It happened. This experience was about 5 years ago, but it's still very fresh in my brain because it was very, very, very intense, very long, also. So yes. So 5 years ago, I went to that place. Actually, when I had that experience, I was in Cyprus also. Cyprus is interesting because they always give me some very interesting experience in there. Probably because I go a lot to this little church, and I my connection with spirituality is very intense when I am there because I have more time to meditate. I had more time, yeah, and the sea water also is very very good for uh, spiritual experiences. So I was in Cyprus when I had that experience. So it was before the pandemic. Now everything is before and after. So it's before the pandemic because I spent 2 years without going there because of the virus. So I I had a friend and he died many years ago. Okay, many years ago, more than 25 years ago, 26 years ago, more or less, he died. And we were very close friends, very close. We are friends from something in the air is not going well with my throat. So many years ago, our family were very close from when I was very young. Okay, very young. So our family were always together. So you develop a very long and very, very consistent friendship. So he was one of my rocks. Okay, whatever I needed, whatever problem I had, he was always there. He was a lawyer also, so it was very handy. So when I moved to England, he came to visit me also, and many times from the 1994 to 1996, he was about 3 or 4 times traveling to England because he was working for the government also. So he had this facility to move around and etc. So, but then he had a car crash in Brazil, and he died from this car crash. Okay, it was 1996. He died at 31st and first, and he were buried at 1st of January of 1996. So it was very painful for me. It was very painful. I felt it deep in my heart because you were very friendly and you had plans also, you know, for when the kids grows, etc. So our kids were friends also, so you had some plans. But then with his death, everything was, down the hill, and everything was postponed, of course. So about 4 years ago, 5 years, 4 years ago, I was taken to visit him in the spiritual world. I arrived where he was, and I entered the house. I remember the entrance of the house. The house were a little in the back of the garden. He was not just in front of the garden. He was a little in the back of the terrain, and no fences, nothing. Just I got in and the door was open. I didn't see door anyway. There were no doors. So I got in and then I saw his family. There were a table where they were talking and sitting on the table preparing something there. And by my left, when I got in by my left, they had a chair and he was sitting on this like a chair, like a sofa, like it was like an armchair, okay? And he was sitting there, just sitting there. He was like very depressed. That's the impression I had when I got inside that room. And then I turned my attention to the family there. They were his family already in the spiritual world also. So, and some people there. There were about 20 people in that house, okay? On that table. There was a large table, wood table, looked like a wood table anyway. And they were talking, and then I asked why he's like that, and then they informed me that he was in that stage, emotional stage, that for when he arrived there. And then I look at them and says, but it's so long. And he said, yes, from the time he arrived here, he sit on that chair and he doesn't move. When he moves, he goes to inside a room there and then come back again. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything. He just stay there. And I look at him. I, I came back to him again. I stood in front of him. And then I said, my friend, look at me. And he didn't look at me. Okay. And I said, I came here to help you. I want to help you. I want to take you to another place where you're gonna be treated. But you have to have desire to go with me. I can't take you by force. You have to desire to come with me. So he didn't say anything. He stayed there, head down. He didn't even look at me. And then I said to him, okay, think about it. I told him, I'm gonna come back tomorrow at the same time, and then you're gonna tell me, okay? You don't need to answer me now. I'm gonna go, and then I'm come back tomorrow. In his mind, it will be tomorrow, okay? Because in spiritual world there is no time, okay? So I said that for him because he was still in the frame of earth. He didn't understood that the time there was different. He didn't wanna knowledge it. He didn't wanna to recognize it. He was refusing to acknowledge his situation. He was refusing to acknowledge his death. He was refusing to acknowledge that he was in another reality. He didn't want to be there. So he was like making a strike, a spiritual strike. I don't want to stay here. I'm not going to stay here. So I'm going to be in that mood forever. Okay. So he was in a strike. 25 years in a strike in the earth time. Okay. You can imagine spiritually how long it must be. Not easy. Not easy. So I went. Don't ask me where I went because I don't have recollection of how far or how long I stayed. But aim for him and for that reality, I came back the next day in that reality. Okay. It was in the same dream of mine, but in that reality, I came back next day. When I came back next day, I found the family still on the living room, talking to each other, having fun, but he was not in the chair. And then I said, where is him? I'm not going to say names because, I don't, his family can listen to it, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to um, cause any situation. Okay, let's put that in that way. So I said, "What is him? What is him? What is him?" I said, "Oh, he's in inside there in the room inside there." And then I just walk in, pass through that corridor and walk in that room where he was. And he was laying down there, not laying completely, he was resting like that, his legs straight, and his body was like I am now, okay, resting like this. And I look at him and say, Zanias, what are you doing? And then he looked at me and said, I can help you. That's what I am here. And he looked at me, said, you can help me. I say, yes. And he looked at me, said, why you want to help me? And then I said, because I love you. And then he said, do you love me? Do you still love me? After everything that happens, do you still love me? And I said, yes, I do love you. and I want to help you. Do you want my help? Do you want to go to that place where I'm going to take you? If you want to go, I can take you now. And then he looked at me, say, yes, I want it. Oh, and then I had in my arms a blanket. It was, the color of the blanket was violet, like a um, violet color, beautiful color. And then I just wrap him on this material, that blanket, and then I took him on my arms, and I went out of the room with him, and then out of the door with him in my arms, spiritual arms, of course, because if it was my physically, I would never be able to do it because he was a very strong man. But spiritually, we can do it. So I took his image soul on my arms, wrap it in that violet, and that blanket, and then I rescue him. I rescue him. And then from the door, when I got to the door, I floated with him and flying with him on my arms. And then from the garden, I started to talk to him, say, look, the place I'm gonna take you, there is a beautiful river. You can have a shower, because from the moment he went there, he didn't have any shower, he didn't drink any water, nothing, nothing. And said, in there, you're gonna change your clothes, you're gonna have a beautiful shower, there is a beautiful river in there, and you're gonna have friends, and you don't need to be here. So I was flying with him, and they said, look down, look down, look the place where it was very dried, very short houses. The road was no pavement on the road, was completely um earth, a little stones, like, completely. It was very dried, very dried. I can't compare it to a desert. Okay, it was very dried, the place. And the road was very long, very long. The houses were very short houses, just bungalows, no higher buildings, nothing, just bungalows. And I was flying on top of the road, and then I told him, look down, look down, look where you have been, look the city where you have been. And then when I was flying with him, and I got to the border of that to cross to the other side where I'm gonna drop him in this house where they were already awaiting for me there. Probably when I said to him, because I don't have recollection of this, but probably when I said to him, I will come back tomorrow, I went to that place and then come back next day. Put that way. So when I was nearly nearly crossing to the other side, I saw two people. Okay, I was flying. I saw two people, not that higher. I was flying high enough, but not that so higher that I was not able to see people. You know, I was a little above the houses. So I saw these two people. One was getting inside the city from that road. It was a lady. She was looking very stressed, but she didn't acknowledge me. She didn't talk to me. And there were another man. He was trying to get out of the city, that city. He was looking like he was lost. He was coming in, but he didn't want to get inside that city. And then he directed to me and asked me, he said, okay, I know there is another city here, but I'm trying to get to that city, but I can't. I can't see any way to get in. I'm gonna tell you why he was not able to. Okay, because between these two cities, there's very close to each other, but between them there is a big hill, a big not hill, a big gap. But it is like a fall. It was very how I, I I have to remember in English the name for this for this big. It was a forest, a big forest, and then the, the, the after the forest there were this big river. Okay, so if one try to get from the forest, we will drop on this river down below. Okay, so it were a big fall, so it was not possible for you to get to the other side from that road that where I was flying on top. Okay, not from the right side, not from the left side. Okay, so it was a very deep gap, a very deep gap between one city and another, and a river that runs in that valley. Okay, and the forest, first forest, and then the valley, and the gap, the valley, and then the river down the valley. So, and that man, he was dressed in a suit. He had a suitcase on his hands. He had ties and everything. He was very well dressed, and he directed to me, said, "I want to go to the other side. I know there is another city that is better than that, but I don't know how to get in there." And then I told him, because I knew how to get there by foot, because this man was not able to fly because he was not yet developed to fly. Okay, so, and he didn't have anyone to carry him like I was carrying my friend. So he was walking, he was still very aware, whatever he was searching for. He was not giving up. Do you understand? There is a difference. A person that knows something can then try to get where he wants. Even in the spiritual life is like, it's the same thing. There is people that gives up, there is people that doesn't give up and try to get to a better place. And this man was like this. He wants to get to a better place. So I told him, look, if you go left, go straight that road, because there were a path. There were a path along that forest, and along that deep gap. There were a forest. So if he I told him, look, go straight, and further down, and I told him further down, and I told him more or less about 1 kilometer from here, you are gonna see an open in the forest. Get inside that open, and then you're gonna see there is a tiny little bridge, and you can take that bridge and go to the other side. And then he went. I just observing him, taking the direction I told him. And then I knew for sure he was counting the meters to get to that kilometer. And I know for sure he managed that. I know for sure. In my heart, I know he managed that. And I'm very glad. I'm sorry for the lady that she didn't ask me nothing, and she went straight to that difficult city. I'm gonna put that way. Okay? So you see, some people are prepared already. When they go to the other side, they know what they wanted. And some people, when they got there, they got completely lost. So they take some time to understand how to. So I continued my journey with my friend on my arms, but when I was giving this direction to that man, I noticed that my friend was sleeping for the first time in 25 years. He was sleeping. He's sleeping on my arms, on this blanket around his body, purple blanket. And then I cross the trees, the forest, and I cross the river. It's when I look at it, I say, look, look, my friend, you have to look at this river, how beautiful it is. But he was sleeping. He was sleeping, and he didn't saw the forest. He didn't saw when I was flying with him. He didn't saw the river, but afterwards, for sure, he saw the river because he stayed there. So when I got to my father's house, this my father, I call him my father because he's my father in another dimension. Probably for the lives that I have had. He's a little, look like a little Chinese, but not Chinese, too much Chinese. He looks more, oh God, from where? Probably something like, he looks more like a Korean old man. He's not very old, but he has this white, beautiful hair. His eyes is a little like this. His skin is a little brownish, but very light, but yellow color. Yes, and he's so handsome, and he's so lovely. And what he does is when I bring someone or another person brings someone to him, he takes the old shoes from the feet of the person, and he 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 created a new shoes for the person. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful what he does. It's beautiful. So when I got in there, and then I said, Dad, I brought him. He finally come. And my father said, "Oh," and then my neighbors came because they knew I was bringing someone. So neighbors came and said, "No, don't worry, you're gonna take care of him." And when my father came from inside the house, because the house is like, I'm gonna try to explain, okay? The house is in the edge of that, very close to the river, okay? From the entrance of the house, from the entrance, and there is a veranda, a long veranda in front of the house. From the long veranda in front of the house to the river, to the deep, because you have to go down to the river, because the house is a little, I think they are in the same level of the other city, and the gap of the river between them. So you have to walk about 10 meters from the veranda to the gap of the river. So to the edge of the the the, the gap that goes down the river. It's like a valley. The river is very deep. Okay. So and the river is gold color. It's beautiful. On the other side, you can see a lot of they have a lot of waterfalls. It's beautiful. The waterfalls of this river is beautiful. It's something out of the world. I can every time I see gold, I remember the waters of that river. So when I got to the veranda, and the neighbors came to, yeah, to welcome him, and my father came from from the inside, because there is the veranda, and then there is a living room. On the left there is a like a L, okay. So on the wall, in the parts of the well, the L, there is a room where the new shoes is building, and on the L, because the L is like this. Yeah, oh, it's like this, from the palm of my hand, but it's the opposite. Okay, it's not that the house is the opposite. It's like this. It's like this. The L is like this. Yeah. So it's very complicated to explain, but let me try this hand. It's No, it's not possible. No, it's not possible. So the L, the palm of my hands, like palm of my hands, the L, but it's the opposite. Okay, so it's the room where he does the little shows, and in the L, the other part of the L is where the room of the old shoes is, and then there is entrance for the entrance for the rest of the house, from probably the kitchens and the, because I haven't got in there. Probably in other times I have been, but not in this one, and I don't have remembrance of this. But from inside, he came from inside, from that inside of the house. He came with one of the girls. I call them my girls. One the girls on his arms, and the other one running. One was a little brownish, with brown hair, long brown hair, and the other one was very blonde, with blonde hair. So I have two girls there with him. Probably I rescued them also and brought for my father to take care of them. So they are about 6 to 7 years old. And I asked him how the girls is behaving. He said, "Oh, like girls, sometimes they give me a lot of lot of trouble." So please, oh my God, they're giving trouble, Dad. I'm sorry. But then the neighbors are saying, "No, but it's okay. You help him a lot." So my friend was a little groggy, like he knew he was in a different place, in a new place, but he was like very weak, because I put him on the floor, and then he was laying down on the blanket there, like awake, but like he was a little groggy, like he was not himself yet. And then I said, "Dad, now you take care of him, because I have to go." Yes, I had to go. And then I say goodbye to my friends. I didn't cry when I was saying goodbye, because in there, we are in the spiritual plane, in the spiritual dimension, you know more, you know better. But when you are in this body, when you have this brain working, and when you have the emotions of us, our emotions running like in me right now, yeah, you cry. But when I was there, it was so natural. So it was like I am here every time. I am here every day. I'm probably am, but I don't remember. And that's something that I am asking my guides to give me the pleasure to go down there again and remember that I am there. Remember, my girls, and talk to my father, because I want to talk to him sometimes and tell him what's going on in my life. Probably he knows more than I know he knows. But yes, and that was my experience with this. He is okay now, because I saw him 2 times after that, and two different situations, two different moments after that experience I had with him. 1 year, more or less 1 year after, I had another one with him. I was very concerned with him. I was very strong on him, because when I visit him, he had moved to another place, in another city. He's not with my father anymore. He is in another place, and I think he's now preparing to come back to planet again, because the last time I saw him, he was saying goodbye to some friends and say goodbye to me also. Um, so yes, I think he's probably in the preparation to come back to the planet to reincarnate again. So I hope him. I hope. I wish him the best in this new experience that he's having, and I'm glad I did help him, and I'm glad he's okay right now. And if he's coming back, is because he's ready to face Earth again. It's not easy place to be. Earth is not easy place to be. It's a challenge every single moment. If you are not ready to be here, it's very complicated to be here. People think, oh no, I'm going to incarnate, it's going to be okay. Oh dear, when they come and see the struggles and, the challenges, and sometimes you say, I want to go back. Yes, I don't know. Let's see if I want to come back again, but I think I had enough by now. I had enough by now. Because I was talking to a friend another day and saying that the first the first um the first um my first experiences in Earth was as a tree, okay? Was as a tree, and that tree was up for more than 1,000 years, okay? So that was my first experience in this planet. So from then now, I think I had enough. I had been so many things already, so I think I am ready now to go to another experiences. But anyway, this video is very long, but I said to you in the beginning, my experience was very long. So I that was very long one. That was very long one, but it was so precious that until today make me cry and make me desire to see my shoes maker daddy. I hope he's okay with me telling you this story, and I'm telling you because I want you to understand that there is more in life, and there is more about life than this simple moment that we are living now. There is more for us to experiment, and I hope that you manage to have these experiences also, because it's very precious. It's very precious. Give you hope and certainty that nothing is wasted in this universe. I don't know how many universes, but in this one, nothing is wasted. And I think in every universe, it's the same. Our Father is the same. Our Father, the bigger one, is the running of everything. And blessed be Him forever. God bless you and keep you safe, and me also. And be strong and grateful to be part of this beautiful odyssey that's called life. Bye bye.